Hey, this is how I see it. We should play this game for life.
What game?
Macking, hanging.
Welcome back to the Mac and the Hanging Podcast. I'm your host, Trey. This is episode 107. I'm here with Rico.
What up, though?
Meech.
Yes, sir.
And we back for another damn episode. We always start off our episodes with some technical difficulties. We took a long week off, and it appears to sound like Rico is on daddy duty yet again, doing some bullshit. You know how Rico get it down. You know how Rico get it in real fast. But yeah, we was off last week. We don't never let people know when we off. We just don't record. But I mean, it was Valentine's Day weekend.
That shit's stupid.
I had a bunch of Valentine's Day. I had a Valentine's Day plan. Mom Dukes was in town, you know, so we were just like, "Hey, bro, we ain't recording." And we had make sure we sent a mass email out to all of our homeless fans underneath the expressways and shit, like, "Hey, bro, just let you know, dog, you ain't gonna have shit to listen to on that Wednesday morning, bro." So, but now we back though, and we feeling good, we feeling refreshed. I'm coming off a successful Valentine's week myself and work day, but beforehand, because Rico was telling me some depressing ass shit. He was saying he had a pretty depressing ass week, so I don't want to start off how he's macking and hanging. I'd rather start off with somebody that might be having a way better week than old depressing dude over here and shit. Because from what I gathered out of that shit, it sounds like Rico was flunking out of school and shit. That's what I got out of that shit. Dude, I was flunking out real quick. But yo, Meech, how you been macking though?
Before I get into macking, I actually got more probably. I'm almost certain I have more complications going on than Rico right now. But I'm not gonna voice those or whatever because those are like real life things that's stressing me and weighing me down and shit or whatever. So I'm gonna speak on the things that's.
Well, let me find out all of us is. Hold on, let me find out all of us as having near suicidal weeks and shit. Cause I contemplated jumping out of a goddamn window. Hey, if y'all was wondering why I was so quiet in the goddamn, I was quiet in the chat this week. That's because I was going through one of the most stressful weeks ever. I actually feel like I was losing weight and shit. But nah, keep going, Meech.
All right, so back to my macking. We all know Valentine's rolled around or whatever, and I'm not gonna really spend too much time talking about that because that kind of is what it is or whatever. I'll just say for Valentine's Day, I spent time with the people I enjoy. Some other things came up that I'm not gonna air out on the pod or whatever, but if you know, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, that it was cool. Shit, I ain't really got too much on Valentine's or whatever. And as far as my hanging goes, honestly, this is the first time from my macking and hanging. I really don't know what the fuck to say and shit. Cause like, I got some shit that I want to talk about in both of those, in the macking and hanging, but they both kind of close to me. I'm not really sure I should air on the pod or whatever. So I'm gonna say my hanging has been fucking stressful as fuck and shit or whatever. So I got some real,
Was it like lady related and shit? Or...
No, not that. No.
Is it relationship related or is it school related? Is it what is it?
Oh no,
I'm just saying don't tell it, but like, what's the central theme? Is it?
Oh no, it's realer than all of that shit. I have ran into some financial woes and shit. A couple situations that I never taken care of in the past is coming back to haunt me and shit. Or whatever, these people want they goddamn money, so this shit been getting a little tricky on my end. This shit was hell.
I feel you on that.
I was literally trying to file my taxes before we start the pod because I got some people that need they got their money and shit. They coming after me and shit. This shit.
Trying to file it.
Hey, this shit has been weighing on me heavy or whatever. And then as far as the macking goes, for Valentine's, that shit came with some complications as well. I'm not gonna put that out there because I don't know who listening or whatever. But yeah, that I can say it was good, but it all worked itself out. But I didn't expect some of the things that presented itself, so that kind of added on to my
Hold
stress
on.
and shit.
Pause that real quick though. Remember that, yo, Rico. Remember that topic we were talking about, false hope and all that. Oh shit! It all bites me right in the goddamn rear.
No, this has nothing to do with that.
Oh shit!
This has nothing to do with that at all. I'll tell y'all off mic or whatever, but it has nothing to do with me giving out false hope. But I'll break that down to you outside of the pod or whatever. But yeah, back to my hanging though. Like I told y'all a couple pods ago that I was starting some content on my own on my page. On a good note, that has been started or whatever. I got like maybe 4 or 5 things I put up already or whatever. And I mean, that's a growing process because when I did that, I've noticed there's a lot of things that I need to, fix and adjust or whatever. So that wasn't stressing me out. I just realized that's a whole nother thing that I have to like worry about and try to manage that and make sure that's going correctly. But between owing people money, and it ain't just like people it's like the motherfucking it's people you got to pay back. It ain't like I owe Rico some money. It's like motherfucking people you have to pay back, or they can just go into your account, take your shit,
like the IRS and shit
or whatever. So
yeah,
that actually happened to me. They had back when I was in the ATL living my goddamn damn distance shit. I had took out a big ass loan, but that was back when I was young. I was young as hell though. But I took a major ass loan out back when I was in like. It was some advice that I got from Nige. He had told me to take out a payday loan.
Oh yeah, we heard this already.
They can't find you and sure you gotta do it. Yeah, but no, they put a humongous ass lien on my account and shit. And I was like, but I got rent. They said, we don't get no fuck. We got rent too, nigga. And they just took my shit.
Nah, I feel like
and I remember when I told y'all.
I feel like
hold on. Remember when I told y'all. Hold on. Remember when I told y'all I had got scammed for that laptop and then my roommate had to cover my house?
Yeah.
Imagine that shit happened and then like the next month I have a lien on my account and I can't pay that money either and shit. Dude was so damn furious. He wanted my ass out of that roommate deal pretty bad and shit. But what you saying and shit?
No, I just feel like y'all remember that y'all remember that episode of Martin and shit where he had lost when he was no longer working at the radio station and he was working like a
baby. I ain't got no ends. I'm assed out.
No facts. I definitely feel when he was like, hey, he was like, this shit is enough to give you a nervous breakdown. This shit, I feel him on that shit. This shit has been weighing me the fuck down.
Hell yeah.
I have been taking my anger out on everybody that's been crossing my path. So stay away from me and shit.
That shit wild.
But yeah, yeah. I mean, I like I said,
hold on. Hold on. Hey, no, hold on. Let me hold on, because that's a good ass topic. That's a good ass topic. I just want to remember that shit. Does your personal battles does being broke make you timid? Because you know how you saying like, yo, nigga, stay away from me because I'm gonna fucking just go ham on you and shit. Like, do you feel like you more inclined to be on somebody's ass now that you're going through this type of shit? Like, do you feel like when you having financial struggles, anybody can get that shit?
No, it's not that I feel like anybody can get it, but it seemed like when you having not financial struggles, but financial situations or whatever, I feel like everybody pop up at the worst time to ask you for some money and shit. Like, yo, the money that you asking me for, literally, I'm about to be locked up if I don't give these people this bread and shit. I'm definitely not giving it to your bum ass. So that pretty much, but yeah, it's safe to say I will have a lot of alcohol tonight and shit to cope with my problems and shit. It's pretty much how I know how to deal with my issues.
Damn.
No, it ain't that bad though. I'm just
how much you owe and shit.
It'll be taken care of.
I'm just saying how much you owe.
I'm not finna put that on a pod. Fuck out of there.
Shit. What the fuck? Nobody care. Nigga, they gonna be like, oh shit, he owes some bread.
Oh no, nigga.
I hope you get better meats for real.
Oh no, I'm just joking and shit. It'll be all taken care of. It's just the fact that I got to do this shit is annoying.
Yo, so after the pod, we're gonna put up a GoFundMe for old Meech here and get this nigga right and shit. You heard?
Sound like a bad idea.
I'm good.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
able to.
Make sure y'all niggas donate to the old.
Nah, I'm good. I'm able to deal with my own shit.
Nah,
I
Meech,
just
take the
don't want to
bread,
give him
bro.
that bread, but whatever.
It sound like Meech on his way to prison and shit. But
Actually,
nah,
you
bro.
definitely on your way to prison and shit.
Nah,
we both know you stole those shades and say ain't no way in hell you had the finances to pay for them bitches.
Hey, all I know is the IRS waiting for your ass. Like, as soon as you leave, there's gonna be a big ass page on TMZ. They're gonna be showing dude getting locked the fuck up and shit. But nah, make sure you pay them niggas whatever they want. Like, but yeah, no, Rico, how you been macking though, bro?
Macking is good. I'm the same way with Meech, bro. My shit gonna be real. I've been having the most terrible 2 weeks of my fucking life and shit.
Nigga, share it with the crowd, bro. The fans want to know and shit. And you know what's funny? Our fans love when our life is in turmoil. So let's give them what they want, bro.
First off,
let's give them what they want.
That's a fact.
First off, my
ain't nothing like
insurance
laughing at another nigga struggling with life and shit.
Hell yeah, like, damn, you gonna better pay that shit. What you gonna do, dog?
First off, I had left my garage open and I was trying to hurry up and speed back to get to the house. How about the fucking police pulled me over and shit? So I'm telling dog, that, yo, listen, come follow me home and shit. Like, come follow me home. My garage open. So he seen that the garage was open and shit. He's like, all right, Mr. Brown, I see that your garage was open and shit. I can understand why you was speeding. Dude still gave me a fat ass ticket and shit.
And then after that, he started beating you and
shit.
They just so used to beating black men and
shit. Oh no, that's a fact. He started beating Rico, then he shot Tierra in the leg and shit. He didn't waste no time going wild and shit.
So then, even though I'm doing amazing in school and shit, I'm actually doing pretty goddamn good and shit. But I'm just terrified that a lot of the information that I'm getting, even though I'm passing, I'm like having a hard time retaining it. I'm starting to realize that shit's starting to come from like stress and shit like that. So I got to find another way to, study and do a whole bunch of other shit.
But as long as you're aware, that the biggest thing for most shit is self-awareness. So as long as you're aware that shit is happening, because most people, they'll be like, yo, I'm past, I don't give a fuck. They won't even think past that shit. The moment you start being aware of like, yo, all right, I need to retain this shit more. So now you finna actually put into practice what you need to do.
Yeah, and that's exactly, I'm trying to get out of that early and shit. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I've been fighting a lot of like mental battles and shit. Like this whole life shit wild in the motherfucking shit. How it's crazy how life can be like one big ass roller coaster and shit. Like 1 minute you on top of the fucking world, and then when you crash, that shit like a big ass airplane crash for real and shit.
Yo, hey, you know what's funny? Hey Rico, you know what's funny? I just had a topic that I had wrote down called "Are we experiencing one of the worst adulthoods of all time?"
dog, you just realized, like, you want to know some depressing ass shit.
What's that?
You work all these hours at your job, right? Only for you to not have no money and shit. I mean, that's not my situation per se, but it's kind of a fucked up situation. Like, imagine all the times that you have money and shit, right?
That's definitely your situation and shit.
I'm finna do something nice for myself.
I can see your lip.
No, it's not my situation. I'm okay and shit.
I can see your lip quivering when you said that shit. That shit definitely coming from your soul and shit.
No, my lip ain't quivering at all. It's amazing. It's amazing that it's amazing that a person could work all these hours and shit and just be like, damn, what the fuck do I got to show for it? And I got plenty of shit to show for it. It's just like, it's just amazing. But then another thing that I was realizing too, like this dude at my job and shit was trying to take some PTO and shit. And basically, long story short, they was guilt tripping the nigga like, nah, yo, we need you here and shit. Dog, like, what the fuck? I earned this PTO and shit. Like, you can't tell me I can't take this PTO and shit.
Wow.
I was just realizing, like, yo, these jobs is like wild as hell and shit.
Hey,
like, how the fuck you try to guilt trip somebody into not taking PTO and shit?
Before my brother jump in and tell his macking and hanging, I forgot to cover part of why my week was bad. This was like one of the worst weeks I've ever had with my students and shit. Like, they was on fucking 10 this week. Like, I had one student, like, normally my schedule goes like from 8 to like 3 o'clock. That's when my class starts or whatever. My class is no problem. I do JK, which is like 4 to 5-year-olds. They no problem. When they get out of hand, it's a simple solution, and then the class right back to running great. But the after school program has been hectic as hell and shit or whatever. Like I had this fourth grader boy and shit or whatever. Incident had happened or whatever, and I was just trying to tell him like, okay, because we was outside. I was like, just go back inside the class or whatever, like, calm down, blow off some steam. And he was telling me like, I ain't got to do what you say, like, you ain't my mama or whatever. Like, who the hell are you talking to, yo? Like, so that situation was getting out of hand. That was the first time he ever tried me and shit or whatever. Like, he was dead ass disrespecting the hell out of me and shit. Like, nah, I ain't got to do what you say and shit. I'm just gonna do what I want.
Wait, he said you ain't my mama.
Nah, it was just a situation between. It was a situation between him and another student or whatever. And in that case, he was wrong. So I was like, just go inside. There's another teacher in there. Like, blow off some steam, calm down. And then once you calm down, then you'll be able to come back out. But he was like, just going back and forth, like, nah, I ain't finna do that or whatever. So right. I was like, all right, so this shit, getting out of control. Then it was 2 days in a row where it was another student who had cussed and shit. They were just losing their mind this week and shit. They was pretty much jumping off the wall in that bitch.
Wait, what did he say? He said, fuck.
No,
he said, fuck, bitch, goddamn. He said it all like that.
No, we was playing a game or whatever, and I don't know. He got eliminated, so I told him he was out. And he was like, man, I'm not out. I was like, you out. That's part of the game. He was like, man, I'm tired of this shit. I was like, huh? The hell is going on here, yo? Like, why is you cussing so naturally and shit? Like, he did that shit the next day again. Like, god damn, what's next? You about to smoke a Newport?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been.
Yeah, I would have punched the shit out of his ass.
Oh no, you'd have definitely been in federal prison and shit as soon as you would have swung and shit.
Oh no, yeah, I don't know how to handle kids. I don't know how to handle kids at all. But I would have decked dude right in this shit. What the fuck? Especially that little fourth grader that said that tried me. I would have punched his ass, and then
and then it's been
because I would have punched the shit out of them.
And then it's been like, I don't know what's been going on this week in school. Like, it's been like, I swear to God, it's been like kids just running around in the hallway and shit. Like, I just be running my class, and out of nowhere, I swear to God, it was just a kid that kept running in my class, didn't belong in the class at all, and then run out and shit. Then I look in the hallway, I see staff members chasing this kid and shit. I'm like, yo, what the hell is going on? Yo, this shit retarded as a bitch, bro. Like, this was a weird ass week for our school. There was a lot of weird shit going on. But yeah.
Wait, you went back to your regular school, or you still subbing?
No, I only sub for that week. I'm back at my regular school. It's just I don't know what happened this week. I feel like I don't know. When you work in a school, every now and then there's always one week where it just be rough as a bitch and shit or whatever. Like, for whatever reason, all of the kids just turn up. They had a lot of sugar. They have a sugar rush and shit. Somebody get stabbed in that bit. It be all kind of stupid shit going on or whatever. So it was one of those weeks where the kids just, I don't know, they just said fuck the teachers.
Hey, you know what's wild? I remember when we were in school and that shit was happening. I used to love those weeks and shit. Like, this shit lit. You remember how, like, when we had those wild ass weeks and shit, you be like, damn, I ain't going to class today, you? And then everybody just skipping and shit, having a fucking blast doing that bullshit. But now as an adult, I bet now you look at that shit way different. I remember skipping in middle school, and I was jerked, like the security guard was chasing me and Najee down the hallway and shit. Then we had hit him with like one of those NFL moves and shit. And that shit was wild as hell. I was having a blast watching dude not be able to find what floor I was on.
Yeah,
I bought a treadmill too and shit.
Right, you just skip too and
no,
shit.
I'm saying as oh my bad. I'm saying as the adult, like when I poked my head out the door and I seen the other teacher chasing that student, I was just thinking like, damn, she losing hella weight because that kid was running fast as hell and shit or whatever. I swear to God, that kid.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that's it. Yeah, it was a weird ass week inside that building and shit. I don't know what was going on.
The only good thing that came out of my week is I'm building a home gym, so I bought a treadmill and shit, and I bought a.
I just bought a what's the name? I bought a fitness. I bought like one of those Peloton bikes and shit.
Oh yeah, this nigga living.
Yeah, I mean it's not the Peloton. It's the same type of bike, but it's their competitor and shit.
Nah. Don't shortchange yourself, bruh. He bought a fucking Peloton.
No,
He
it's
happy.
not the Peloton. It's not the
I don't give a
Peloton.
fuck. It's a Peloton on the pod and shit. That's the fucking
no.
Bro,
shit.
he
But yeah, I
bought a
got one of
mountain
those
bike.
and
He be
shit.
riding that bitch through the crib.
Danny was using that shit yesterday and shit. I'm like, God damn, that shit look intense and shit. But I'm gonna get on that shit eventually. I just gotta go get some make sure I got the right shoes for that shit though. I'm trying to do the same type shit.
Yeah, and I bought the last thing I bought was a speed bag too and shit. So
so you can get that little jab ready.
Yeah, I gotta. I read that.
Damn, I had a
losing weight can
domestic.
also help.
I had a domestic joke coming, but I'm gonna hold that one.
This nigga beat
you said he hell no, he bought a speed bag and shit. Hell no, let that shit fly.
No, I was just gonna say he had a picture of his. He had a picture of his wife on that bag as he was punching it and shit. Dude, angry as hell.
Yo, you niggas is wild, yo.
Like, God damn, okay, I hate this motherfucker. That shit crazy.
You niggas is wild. But that's pretty much it for my week. Yeah.
This fucking World War III shit happening. All the wild shit on social media. Y'all think this shit is like some of the worst shit ever and shit? How y'all think this shit ranking out? And is this what you expected adulthood to be and shit? That's like a two-parter and shit.
I'm gonna go with the first question.
Is this what you expect adulthood to be?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that first. No, not necessarily. I didn't expect adulthood to go this way because when you're a kid, you just think of freedom. When I'm gonna be grown, I got freedom to do this, freedom to do that, freedom to do this. You ain't thinking about nothing else until you start to get a little old enough to realize freedom only comes when you have financial stability or whatever. So, and that comes with being an adult, which means you got to go to work, which means you got to do something you don't like, which means you finna be in that bitch 9 times out of 10 slaving, dealing with people you don't know, you got to learn to deal with. It's all kind of shit that you didn't prepare yourself for when you was a kid or a teenager. So when it comes to that, adulthood is a little unexpected. But then I feel like the most important thing is I don't think we realized as kids we was gonna be this depressed as adults and shit or whatever. I feel like a lot of people be dealing with depression or whatever as like adults or whatever because it's just so much you got to deal with. You got to deal with family problems. You got to deal with childhood trauma. You got to deal with financial stability or lack thereof. You got to deal with friendships. You got to deal with relocation. You got to deal with political shit. It's just so much as an adult that you just didn't know that was going to come at you all at once that you wake up one day and realize, like, damn, half of us adults out here are low-key depressed and shit or whatever. Like, when I be looking at... No, let me finish. When I be looking at, like, social media...
keep going.
When I look at social media and I be looking at people post shit and they put like these crying emojis or laughing emojis, I just be looking like, damn, a lot of people be using this shit to mask their pain or whatever. Like, a lot of us get up and go to work and just be walking out here with a lot of motherfucking pain trying to figure out how to deal with this shit or whatever. And then, like, as kids, we didn't understand. I mean, we kind of seen this a little bit, but we didn't understand the full impact on like alcohol and drugs and shit. That shit really destroy motherfuckers. Like, you seen it as a kid, but as an adult, you can actually try it and see like, damn, this shit can really ruin motherfuckers' lives and shit. So you got to watch out for that. And then another thing, you like, wait, hold on, I got to watch out for sexual diseases as well. Like, damn, every time I put my head up in some shit, I got to watch out for that's making me depressed and shit or whatever. So, and
fact, and you gotta watch out for breathing air and shit.
And then
niggas can't even breathe air correctly in our adulthood and shit.
And then another thing is like, it's just so many factors. Like, when you become an adult, most people don't think you finna be raising a kid by yourself or you gonna be a single parent. But when that shit happens, then it's like, God damn, I ain't signed up for this shit or whatever. I'm saying these are things you did not prepare for as kids, because the only thing that could prepare you is life itself or whatever. So, you know, that shit becomes a struggle. And then I do feel like we are living in historic times, though, because if you think about it, we got to see the first black president. we got to see shit, the first celebrity president in Trump. We wasn't adults when this happened, but shit, we went through 9/11, we went through Hurricane Katrina, we went through seeing Kanye as an adult. Like, as you grown to witness Kanye, like everything that comes with him, that's just a wild experience within itself and shit or whatever. So I feel like I don't know if we living in the worst times as adult, because we did see evolution when it comes to like social media and technology or whatever. And that's like a high and low, because it could be great at times and it could be horrible at other times. Like, I was talking to this teacher the other day, and I was telling her, like, yo, we lucky that we didn't grow up in this social media era, because it's a lot that they dealing with, you know what I'm saying, as kids and shit. That shit is a lot.
That's a fact.
Or whatever. So, like, for us to be able to deal with social media as an adult, yeah, it's a lot on us as well, because you know, it's a lot that comes with that shit. Your job can be looking at that or whatever, or your spouse can be looking at that. Like, normal shit you can get away with back then. Now you can't, because you put it on social media, then it's taken the wrong way. And so I wouldn't say the worst times, because there was a lot of worse shit that happened, but I say we living in historical times. Like, this pandemic, this shit they'll be learning about this shit like fucking 100 years from now. This Trump administration will be remembered for that shit. Will be remembered, whether good or bad. That shit will be forever in times or whatever. And some of these crazy cases that we seen with like black people dying or whatever, that's unfortunate. I don't want to live in those times, but we did. So yeah, I'll wrap it up. I wouldn't say the worst of times. I'll say we're living in historical times.
Yeah, and I'll second that shit. I feel like when this shit is all said and done, because we living in, I would say if I was ranking this adulthood to like, we would probably fall just a slight under the goddamn 1960s and shit. Like 1960s civil rights, all that shit. I feel like we right there. We had remember we was having the damn riots last year, or not the riots, but the fucking protests and shit. We had all of that shit. We had the fucking pandemic.
Remember when riots in Milwaukee? Remember that?
Yo,
they tore the whole city up.
Remember when we was little kids and like you would look at those photos of civil rights movement, they would show like people getting sprayed with the water hose and all that shit, and you'd be like, damn, like not thinking like that shit would never be able to happen again. And then like in our adulthood, that shit happened. I think I would say to the other shit, like personal adulthood, like when you thought about it, I think that shit is way tougher than we all expected, because a lot of the shit that you didn't realize fall on you, because like your parents protected you from a lot of that shit. You ain't even know like, oh, how I eat, that's on me. How am I entertained, that's on me. How I'm my health, that's all on me and shit. Like back in the day, remember your parents would schedule your fucking doctor visits and your fucking dental visits, and like everything about your life become like falls on you. And like as us, we're adjusting to that new responsibility, but then just throw in the monkey wrench. Oh, I got a goddamn pandemic to worry about. Oh, I also got a possibility of getting abducted and shit. You know, they out here abducting niggas and putting them on a sex island. If y'all ain't hear about that shit. We gotta worry about that shit. Then we got new shit that's popping up. Like what Mitchell was talking about, like being a parent. The shit that the new adults, like, because social media was never out. Like, remember back in the day, the biggest things parents and shit had to worry about is like, is my kid watching too much TV or listening to the wrong type of, like that type of influence. Now it's like the technology is moving so fast. As an adult, parents and non-parents, you got to be able to adapt to that shit. It's like, oh fuck, now, I'm finding myself fucking depressed just looking off all these negative news stories that's popping up on my social media, like the George Floyd shit last year, or the most recent shit, the Kim Potter shit, of like we're trying to cope with all of this extra shit. So I think the rise of technology in the midst of like all this wild shit of a pandemic, and then we have to worry about a fucking World War III and shit, that's gonna make this goddamn adulthood, it may be the top 3 of all time worst adulthood, or not all time, post slavery adulthoods and shit. Because anything in slavery time, that was the worst adulthood ever and shit. You feel me? What you gotta say about that, Rico? Because I know you was talking about some wild shit you was going through and shit. And I'm thinking that would be part of your adulthood experience, rising highs and lows and shit.
That adulthood shit is wild as fucking shit. Like I was saying before, like 1 minute you be on a high and shit, and then the next minute you get so low that sometimes you don't even know how to fucking recover and shit. Like it's so much shit going on in the world right now that I don't even understand how people function all the way sometimes and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I genuinely feel like people that act like they happy all the time, A, be lying, and then B, I feel like a lot of people in the world just ain't happy. Like it's just a lot of shit in the world that's not to be happy about and shit.
That's
like,
a fact.
Every time you look up, it's some fucked up shit happening.
Facts.
It's some fucked up shit happening
and
all the time, bro.
To your shit, the thing that I think we are adjusting to is how to leave. I feel like as an adult, we now trying to figure out how much social media is too much social media, how much technology is too much technology. Not even just that.
You 100% right on that. But the biggest thing for me personally is trying to keep my humility and shit.
And like how much sex is too much sex. You heard? Because y'all niggas be getting that shit in and shit. You know what I mean?
How much sex is too much sex?
It's kind of
is there a thing of
hey, wait, hold on before you get that freaky
too much goddamn sex.
Hold on before you. That's a great topic, but hold on before you get that off. Another thing about being adults, I feel like we all have came to this realization. We all realize like we gotta find moments of happiness. Like life ain't filled with happiness and shit. Most of that shit is filled with tragedy, stress, and sadness and depression. So we look for little fucking windows of happiness to grab on or whatever. And that's like, you look at that like, damn, that's all.
And that's why sex is. Yep. And if you think about it, that's the reason why the external shit is what people chase. So I'm like, yo, sex makes me feel amazing as an adult. So I want more of that shit. Drugs make me feel amazing as an adult. So I will like more cocaine and crack, my good sir. Alcohol, like as an adult,
that cocaine and crack flowed off your tongue natural. You got something you want to tell us and shit?
Oh, hell yeah. Nah, just that, niggas be looking for that shit. But when you know how like when you was little, you would just look at adults and be like, damn, I wonder how they got that way and shit. Or like, what the fuck in life pushed them down that path and shit. But then as you start rising in an adult, you start to see like, oh shit, like every year as an adult can be different and shit. Because one thing that you realize is like, as you get older, so does the adults of your previous life, you know what I mean? Or your childhood and shit. So you got that happening at the same time and shit. But
I got a great point. I got a great point. Great point. To me, there's also a such thing as age depression. And what I mean by age depression is like, everybody kind of look up and you can see your clock ticking and shit. Like when you hit 30, that's when you realize, oh shit, this shit is real. Like when I was in my 20s, everything was for play, and we was all having fun and shit. Now it's like, it's serious time because after the 30s, it's the 40s and shit. And you start realizing like, damn, this clock really is ticking on me and shit. Like we can eat as healthy as we want to. We can have the healthiest lifestyle we want to. But at the end of the day, you cannot avoid that clock that's ticking and shit. And I feel like that can cause depression depending on how you looking at that or whatever. So, yeah.
Right. And that's what I agree. But I would say that's one of the books that I read because that's the thing they actually talked about and shit. And like the most people that are depressed are looking at things in a time lens. But like if you're trying to chase that big ass, like how do I just be happy majority of the time and shit? And the biggest key of what the book was saying is like focus on the present goddamn time. You know what I mean? So focus on this one moment. What can I do right now to feel fucking great and shit? What can I do right in this goddamn second? Is that let me go find a chick to screw on. That may make me feel happy. Maybe go do some exercise or listen to my favorite album. Like,
hey, let's get back into that sex
focusing
topic, though.
not
like
on the future.
You headed somewhere.
No. Yeah. I'm gonna get into that shit. I just want to get this shit out because whoever gonna listen might need that shit. It's like focusing on the future and focusing on the past are all what they call that shit, mirages and shit. You should own, because them shits don't exist. All you have is your right moment right now, and that's the only thing that's promised to you is this current moment. So if you want to fight like that depression of future, don't think about what the fuck you gonna be doing 10 years from now, because that's just not promised. Don't think about last year. Think about right now. Be happy in that moment and shit. But back to that, can you have too much goddamn sex? Can you have too much goddamn sex? And I'll tell you like this. I remember one time I was hitting a bit of a win streak back in my old college days, right? Knocking down chicks left and right and shit. And I remember I was talking to Najee about this shit, and he was telling me like, yo, it can become draining in a while, because like you don't realize when you having a sexual relationship or sexual relations with others, y'all exchanging energies and shit. So the more you constantly doing that shit can be exhausting and shit. And I remember I was experiencing that shit. I'm like, yo, this shit. There comes a while when you kind of get sick of that shit though. But like, what's your experience with that shit, Meech?
No, let Rico go. He ain't even talked in a minute.
Nah, that shit is a. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. As a man, if you work hard, sex balances you out and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it not only balances you out, it gives you like a sense of accomplishment and shit. Like, you feel undefeated when you get exactly what you want and shit. Is it a such thing as too much? That varies on the person and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because not everybody is having sex like every day and shit. You know what I'm saying? There's only so much shit that you can do before you be like, all right, nigga, fuck, I gotta do. I gotta hit you over your head or something, or tie a rope around your neck or some shit like that. Like, regardless of what people say, like, shit gets stagnant, and you're going to have to evolve and find a way to keep it up and shit, regardless of who it is and shit. Now, if you do that with multiple people, you as a person go get bored with the people and shit, because if they not willing to reach the potential or the highs that you willing to go and shit, it's pretty much not gonna work and shit.
All right, let me go.
Hell yeah, what you gotta say, mate?
I'ma just be 100%, nigga. Sex is goddamn exhausting if you having a lot of that shit. And I know because I'm speaking on current.
Yeah,
I'm speaking on current moments of my life or whatever. Like, I've been having a lot of sex lately, and I don't say that to brag. I'm just saying that to state a fact or whatever. And this has been happening to me recently. Like, recently, I've been finding myself like, I just don't want to have sex tonight, yo. Like, we had sex last night, the night before. Like, I just kind of like, because at the end of the day, like, sex is a workout. Like, if you really performing sex the correct way, shit, you doing all kind of shit. And just like workout, I need a goddamn break. So, and like my brother was saying, like, you also giving your energy away or whatever. And that shit, that's a whole nother level of, I can't even explain what that is, but you can feel that in your body and shit or whatever. Like,
facts. No, because you know they say like, if somebody, let's say somebody is depressed and they got hella negative energy inside of them and shit. When y'all having sex, like if they just going through the mad depression, they got like a dark cloud around them. Y'all exchange energies and shit. You ever heard that term soul ties and shit?
absolutely.
Like, when you doing that shit frequently with a bunch of different people, y'all exchanging that shit, and it's real shit. Cause like, similar to what you put in your body and it affects you, you still putting something in them, they still putting something back into you and shit. So niggas gotta be mindful of that shit.
yeah. So yeah, it is a such thing as too much sex, but there also is a such thing as lack of sex, and I don't want to be on that end either. So shit,
There you
find
go.
myself somewhere in the middle.
That's a whole fact. Yeah,
No, that's a fact, Meech.
lack of sex is why they started that goddamn
But
island
listen,
and shit.
I don't give a fuck what nobody say, nigga. Lack of sex had your whole mood fucked up. Like, you be angry, like ready to just tear the whole fucking universe
No,
down and
I will
shit.
say
Lack of sex will fuck up your whole
lack
work
of
day and
sex
shit.
will make you make poor judgments or whatever, because shit, I don't know, your body just not functioning correctly. So you start making poor choices or whatever. Thank God that they created porn, because if you're not getting as much sex as you would like, it's not exactly the same, but shit, it kind of give you some relief or whatever, so you don't be out there making horrible choices and shit. Especially when you get lack of sex, that really have you in those dark alleys talking to women that's really a two and shit. But you don't really get no fuck because you need to get your shit off or whatever. So you find yourself in some desperate situations if you
Goddamn
if you
Snippy.
in lack of sex, and I've been there.
Mm-hmm. Same, bro. In college, I still remember sneaking those trash ass chicks out my dorm room and shit when I had lack of sex popping off and shit. Like, yo, can you climb out the window and shit? Can you
That's
climb out this
everybody.
goddamn window and shit? Yo, you know what I was just thinking of though? Because like on this sex shit is like, how frequent do you spice shit up? Like, are you spicing like?
You know, we
Because
kind of
I'm
talked about
thinking
this already.
you would spice it up. Well, I know
Yeah.
because here's what I'm about to go into though for like Valentine's Day, right? Because you know what we were talking about in the last the deleted scenes. And I might turn that shit to an NFT. Who knows what Big Trey gonna do? That shit might be an NFT and shit. But the last shit we was talking about Valentine's Day and all this shit about like giving gifts and shit, right? I'm thinking, what if your gift is a sexual thing and shit, right? So like those you be like, yo, I'm gonna do some wild, crazy sexual ass shit. Do you do something different sexually on Valentine's Day that you wouldn't do on your normal day and shit? Like, would you decide, hey, let me spice? Because technically, if Valentine's Day is supposed to be a representation of y'all vibes, y'all feelings for each other, y'all intimacy together and shit. Would you do something extra sexually on Valentine's Day and shit? That could be with your actual partner, or that could be with I don't know if you're single. I'm just asking 2-part question over here and shit.
Go ahead, Rico.
Yo, your mic muted, Rico.
Man, hell no. If that's the gift you give me, I'm gonna have a problem with that and shit. Because that's some shit you could do on a regular Friday and shit when we ain't got the baby at home and shit.
But what if she like, yo? She bring a girl in. She like, let's get this threesome popping off of Valentine's Day, bruh.
Hell no, that shit wouldn't make me excited at all and shit. Actually
Oh,
piss me
word.
off.
You
Yeah.
prefer her to bring a
Not that
dude, huh?
I'm one of the people I personally don't. Nah, you fucking dyke.
Damn, what you
I
got
don't
against
prefer
dykes?
threesomes at all and
This
shit.
nigga said, where the fuck Tom at? God damn, where Tom at?
I just don't want you to. If that's the type of shit that you bring in, your ass better get creative and shit. Like you better bring something else and shit. Like that can't be the only thing that you bring and shit. Like I be seeing the memes all the time where people be talking about what chicks go bring for the Valentine's Day and shit, and then it's a arrow pointing down to their box and shit, and it's just like nah, yo.
But
Unless it's somebody that you ain't never had before and shit,
yeah,
that's the caveat and shit. Like if you ain't never had her, all right, cool. But if that's your girl and shit, and that's your wife or whatever, like you have to bring something else and shit. Like
but I'm asking you. I'm saying like, would you decide like, all right, it's time to do some wild shit on Valentine's Day? Some shit I bring out this shit once in a blue moon type of shit.
nah, hell no. Because if I bring it out once in a blue moon and it's cracking, I'm gonna have to do it all the time. So I might as well just get it out the way before Valentine's Day and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like
I feel you,
and
bro.
that's the problem with that. Because if you predicate bringing out your best move on Valentine's Day and shit, relationship pretty much trashed after that and shit. Because if that's the only time you can do it, like that one move is predicated on Valentine's Day, like nah, yo, I'm good on that.
Right.
We finna try to push it every time we get it cracking and shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck what it is.
So like, you usually giving out the basic package on that Valentine's Day, huh?
I ain't saying basic, but you know, nigga ain't finna be sitting right here acting like niggas just going berserk or some shit like that just because it's Valentine's Day and shit. Like you could one thing that you can do. Well, you can't even do that. So I'll take that back. I was finna say that y'all can be a lot more like intimate and shit like that, but you're supposed to be a lot more intimate anyway and shit. So
Yeah.
you can't predicate anything like that towards Valentine's Day and shit.
Let me get
You know
Meech's
what I'm
take on
saying?
this shit.
Yeah, if a woman give me a sexual gift for Valentine's Day, first of all, get your big bum ass out of here. Cause 9 times out of 10, that shit didn't cost that much. That shit definitely. I've been in some of them stores. I've seen them prices on some of those things here. Now, if you showed up with another woman and shit, then a nigga like me, you have won me over, baby. I might fall in love with that new chick, and you to fuck around and made this shit messier than it gotta be. So don't bring no new chick around me, because I end up might fall in love with her and shit, depending on how well that goes. But
That's
if
all
I'm,
fact.
am I bringing something different as far as sex on Valentine's? Hell no. And the reason why I'm not, because what I already delivered, nigga, that shit is a motherfucking one credit. I ain't got shit to prove. You already know what I'm coming with. Enjoy this shit. I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go a little longer because it's Valentine's and shit. That's gonna be the extra I'm giving you, shit. But I ain't about to be doing all no hit no
Right.
backflip in that pussy. Hell no. The shit I give you is fucking great enough.
Yeah, and here's what I'm saying and shit, right? So like you can do some shit like, let's say because I remember I did this shit once. I bought some bought my goddamn, I'm trying to figure out if I can say
You
this
watched
shit or
it.
not. No, I'm not gonna say this shit. But just know it was some it was some
You was on
spontaneous
that
shit. Like it's not, I'm
on
not
the
saying like
cuckold vibe.
in the bear.
You was
I'm saying
watching
like
another man pipe your
I was,
clean.
hell no, that was your dirty no, Mitch was getting pegged and shit. He said, God damn, you putting that shit in my ass? Well shit, make it happen then. But nah, what I was saying was like, I'm not talking about like breaking no new moves out. I'm saying like, let's say you buy your girl some like some panties that got like the extra toy on and that shit, and like y'all at dinner and you got the little toy vibe popping off while y'all chilling and shit. Like that's what I'm saying. I'm saying like having that type of shit. You know what I mean? Because I know we discussed this on the pod before when niggas was like, yo, I forgot. I think it might have been a Christmas present that niggas decide to do like we're gonna get our girls some like sexual type of shit. We're gonna remember that
Oh
shit.
yeah,
But like
for sure.
that's what I'm saying. I'm talking about shit like that. Like if you decide like not sexing like y'all regular shit. I'm saying like, yo, we out on dinner. Let's do some wild shit. Let's go to the fucking bathroom or let me have a little toy on your shit while we chill and talk. You know what I mean? Like just some that type of extra shit during a regular ass day and shit. You know what I mean? But then like making that experience more sexual and shit. But apparently niggas don't do that shit. And yeah, I'm with the consensus of the squad. If somebody try to give me sex for a Valentine's Day present, we officially done with and shit.
Yeah, like
We officially done. And I forgot to mention, my lady got me a fire ass Valentine's Day present. She got me I'm going to Broccoli Fest and shit in DC and shit. You know, her and SZA and all of them gonna be there and shit. She got me some VIP tickets to that shit. So that shit gonna be
that's pretty lit.
Shit gonna be lit as hell. I was trying to have Ugly Eye Drake come and shit. But that's how that yeah, so that's how that shit was and shit. I was just trying to think of that Valentine's Day shit. And I am noticing that I'm starting to notice it seems like it's not the holiday isn't now it's not just focused on the woman anymore and shit. It
Hey,
seems like
Rico, Mike.
the guys are starting to get hell yeah. Shit. Dude ass did not care about the pod at all and shit. No fucking ugly shit. But no, one thing I was going to say was it just seems like we you know how like they say Sweetest Day is supposed to be for the guys and shit, and like Valentine's supposed to be for the ladies. But now it seems like we all can agree that Sweetest Day is just a day that no one gives a shit about. So it looks like everybody getting goddamn presents on goddamn Valentine's Day and shit. But speaking of somebody that's doing too much, who did too much on goddamn Valentine's Day, it would be Kanye damn West. Yo, because I was having this, we was all in the chat having this discussion, and it's like, yo, this dude is just doing so much shit. Are we allowing, like, since he is such a high figured status person, are we allowing Kanye West to get away with stalking? Because it's like he won't leave Kim K alone, and now the recent shit just popped up. They saying he refused to sign the fucking divorce papers and shit. I don't know if y'all seen that. The latest
Yeah, I
update.
seen that dude out here wilding like fucking shit.
But are y'all? Is he stalking Kim K? And why do we think this shit is okay? Like no one is really. We all just allowing this shit to happen. What's y'all thoughts on that shit?
I don't think it's okay at all and shit. Dude out here looking clowny as hell. Like everything the dude doing, like just he an amazing person when he just in his business bag and kind of like staying away from social media and shit. But
What's going on?
She don't like Kanye West either. She don't like Kanye West at all.
Hey.
She say, "Yo, Kanye tried. Yeah, I know he tried." But yeah, yo, Meech, I'm gonna let Meech go into how you feel about this.
Wait, I wanted Rico to finish his thoughts. Let him finish his thoughts.
Well, no, his baby's still talking, so his baby's still talking. Just let you go into because they about to walk out.
All right. We definitely letting Kanye get away with stalking or whatever. Like, I've never seen no shit like this before. This is like the most insane shit I've seen. Like, he just refused to leave her alone. And if Kanye was a regular person and shit, normally it would be the squad that would be looking at him like, bro, you being lame as a bitch. But since he Kanye West, he don't have nobody to point him into that direction of being lame and shit or whatever. And then I don't understand. Like, I get fighting for your family, but this ain't fighting for your family. This is some other shit. This is literally like control. Like, he damn near trying to control Kim life or whatever. Like, you can't talk to Pete. You can only be with me. The kids can only do this. Like, when he said that shit about they didn't let me come to my daughter's birthday, I was thinking like, duh, dumb nigga. Like, you ever heard of co-parenting? Like, they can have one birthday party and you can have one birthday party as well. Like, you don't want to go to the birthday party to be around your kids. You want to go there to continue to stalk Kim and shit or whatever. Like, and also, this is not even how you get your family back. Like, let me tell you from...
This is how you lose them.
Exactly. Let me tell you from a nigga who been through that, losing a family and shit. Like, when you on your desperate shit, because when you lose your family, it removes you from who you are. Like, when I lost my family and shit, that shit removes you from, you know, like the cool version of you and shit. You start to become desperate and do desperate shit or whatever. Because I remember around that time, I was doing desperate shit that's out of my character. But it didn't take me long to get out of that. It took me like, like maybe 2 weeks or something like that. And once I one of my guys had hit me, and he was like, bro, she never liked it, this version of you and shit. Like, this like the lame version of you and shit. He just kept it real with me or whatever. I'm like, damn, you right. Like, this ain't me at all or whatever. Like, I don't expect nobody to like this side of me because this is just a pathetic side of me or whatever. So once you shake that off, you just get back to being you. I feel like the best way to get your family back is by growing in your own life as far as like mental or whatever, just, you know, just growing or whatever and focusing on the things that you can control. If they see you becoming a better person and you doing that just based off of becoming a better person, not to get their attention, then maybe possibly you can get your family back. But if you just on some straight stalking shit, like, I ain't letting you do this, you ain't doing that, you ain't doing that, you ain't doing this, like, then it's like, God damn, like, at some point I'm gonna have to get the authorities involved because now this shit getting out of hand. Like, you putting people's lives in jeopardy. Like, you putting a new person she talking to, as much as we all think Pete is a lame and shit, like, at the end of the day, he didn't ask for Kanye to make his life more complicated because I'm talking to your ex-wife. And I was thinking this the other day. Like, Kanye a huge hypocrite because when he got Kim, remember, she was talking to Chris Humphries or whatever. Kanye didn't get no fuck about no
Chris Humphries. And he made a
Kanye
song
didn't
about
get
it.
no fuck about no Chris Humphries. He didn't feel bad for him at all for taking his wife or whatever. But now that another nigga did that to you, now you stalking. He's stalking both of them. It ain't just Kim. He's stalking Pete as well or whatever. So it's like, I want to support Kanye because, you know, we at the end of the day, we all became Kanye fans. But it's like, yeah, we love Kanye because he do outrageous shit, but like, this ain't even outrageous for entertainment. Like, you literally bothering people, and you have kids with this person. Like, eventually your kids gonna realize like what dad is doing, and this shit ain't cool, and it's gonna affect the kids. And like, he just losing to me. Like, one episode, I remember Rico was telling me, I forgot what the topic was about, but he was telling me like, this ain't equivalent to Kanye losing his mom, like she died or whatever. But I was trying to tell Rico, because I've been through this similar situation. Like, when you lose somebody that's all you know, that's literally your entire life. Like you damn near do feel dead inside or whatever. So it's not as quite as losing his mom because his mom is not even here anymore. But like it ain't that far behind. I'm telling you, when you lose, like let's say, God forbid, if you lost your wife, it would take a long time to recover from that because literally your entire life was surrounded by that. Everything you do, your work schedule, the things you do when you get off of work, like the things you do on the weekend when you have free time, the parenting time you spend with you, mom and daughter, like all of that is now gone, and you got to try to figure out how to readjust yourself or whatever. And some people be in denial where they don't even want to readjust themselves.
You know what my argument to be? You know what my argument to be with you, Meech, about that? Do you really feel like the lifestyle that Kim lived was conducive for Kanye West?
It's not about whether it was conducive. It's about like it's about that. That's all that he knew. Like, yes, he had a life before Kim, but once he married Kim, or not even married Kim, once he started dealing with Kim, and then they became together, and then they got married and had kids. I'm telling you, like once you build a partnership like that with somebody, and you know, like that's all you fucking know. Every day you wake up and you know
what they partnership. You know what they partnership was built on and shit. You know what they whole partnership
well,
was
neither
built
one
on?
of us know that because we
Deception and destruction.
That's
and
not
shit.
true. We wasn't. You can't.
We
No,
do know
you can't
that.
tell. You can't say. You can't say.
That
Wait, you said it was built on. You said
deception and
That's not
destruction.
true. Yeah, that's
I
not
don't think
true.
they
They
was
was
built on that
literally.
shit though.
How is that not true? He took her from
Yeah, but I'm
somebody
saying the way.
else.
I'm saying
Publicly.
the way you wording that make it seem like
he dissed the nigga in a
hold
record.
on. I'm saying the way you wording that make it seem like they was never in love. It was just all some chaotic shit. Like at one point they was in love or whatever. So I'm saying he in such a spiral.
I didn't say that. I just said, I asked, did you think the lifestyle that she lived was conducive for him? That's all I asked. And the reason I asked that because they whole lifestyle is a reality show.
Of course,
literally, they whole.
Of course, the lifestyle he lived.
You know when she started talking to Kanye. You want to know when she started talking to Kanye?
When?
Right after he lost his mom. Not one time if that nigga actually ever got a chance to grieve or do any of the shit that he was supposed to do and shit. Not one time.
I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's true though.
You know what happened? I can tell you what happened, and we all seen it.
But I don't know if that's true. That's not true.
How come
after he lost his mom, he was dating Amber Rose and shit. He wasn't dating Kim Kardashian. Remember, he went from because it was the graduation came. I remember he was on that shit with 50 Cent. That was right after his mom died, and then he was dating Amber Rose. He started dating Kim K way later down the road. He started dating Kim K.
Yeah, your timeline a little off.
Maybe right after Dark Twisted Fantasy, he started dating her and shit. After Dark Twisted Fantasy, so like going into Yeezus, he started dating her.
My point is, my point is, Kanye is that like I don't have to be Kanye to understand what it felt like to lose something like that or whatever. My point is, he's at a point in his life where like now this is why I can't relate to Kanye. He's used to being in control. This is the first situation where your money can't. This is the first situation where your money can't control the situation or whatever. It don't matter how much money you got. That ain't gonna bring her back or whatever. So that shit is driving him fucking crazy. Like he don't know what the fuck to do or whatever. So I mean, he getting away with stalking, and I think he need to stop that shit.
Oh, we was all wrong too. He was talking to some chick named Alexis Pfeiffer. I don't even know who the fuck that is and shit.
Probably a
she's
some
nobody care about that. But
yeah. So I apologize. I was off.
Yeah, nah, he definitely getting away with stalking.
But yeah, and my take on that shit is my take on this shit is it's just a story of that's repeating itself. If you go back and watch that, remember that OJ documentary that was on ESPN a while, but that 30 for 30 OJ Simpson documentary and shit. Kanye is literally doing exactly the same shit OJ did when he was stalking the white chick he ended up killing and shit. You know what I'm talking about? Like
Nicole Smith.
that's kind of that's kind.
That's not
I'm not gonna lie. That's kind of wild
like
to compare Kanye to OJ though, because
Yeah.
you damn near seen when he about to kill Kim.
No. I'm not. I'm saying the scenario. If you go back and watch the 30 for 30 shit, remember she started dating another famous athlete, and then remember OJ started stalking her and shit. Remember he did the same shit. His house was like right across the street from her and shit. They said he used to be spying on them when they was having sex, all type of wild ass shit. I think it's ironic that because Kim Kardashian's dad was the lawyer on OJ's fucking defense team and shit. And the odd shit about it is damn near the similar type of before the murder. I'm just talking about like how this shit was happening. Like he was publicly going after, like they would be at restaurants, OJ would just show up, buying houses across the street, just always constantly bothering her. And she was just trying to get away from him. Kanye doing the exact same shit with Kim K. She's like, yo, leave us alone. You're not even hearing shit. You're not hearing shit from Pete Davidson. Similar to when OJ was talking to, or when old girl was talking to the football player, the dude, his name was Eric Reed and shit. Dude would never say anything that like about the situation. She was just like, "Yeah, we just moved on, blah blah blah. Let's leave us alone and shit."
Hey, I will say, wait, hold on.
It just the irony.
I will
of it
say
is
in the defense, not that I'm trying to defend Kanye, but I will say, normally when it's one person that's like being real loud and the whole public can see all of the things that they doing and they look like the villain, sometimes the other person on the other side be doing things as well, but they just don't put it out for the world to see. And then it makes the other person look like the bad guy because Kim can be doing stuff that could be triggering to him. I'm not making excuses for his behavior, but I'm saying it can be more two-sided than we think. We just see Kanye because he put it all out. She could be doing things that's antagonizing as well or whatever. We just don't know about it.
That's a fact too. I was gonna say something about that. Sometimes, Kim like being black, but she also like using her white privilege too and shit.
Hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying? She use it
That's
for her benefit. So we ain't gonna act like she a saint. But at the same time, at least she's smart enough to know some shit is best kept under wraps and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I can give her that. She trying to keep this shit as in-house as possible.
Like, you go ahead, keeping some things in-house is the right way to go about it. But Kanye is like, yo, I'm dealing with one of the most wealthiest white families in this fucking country or whatever. Y'all don't understand the kind of power and the games that they can play, whatever. And I'm a black man. I need y'all.
That's a fact.
It's like, yo, I need y'all to understand what's happening just in case some shit start to happen that don't make sense. I've already explained to y'all what happened now. So if some unexpected wild shit just for whatever reason happened or whatever, at least we understand like, oh shit, he did try to warn us when he was telling us about it. But all that other stalking shit, that's beside.
Well, I was about to say that would be the case if he wasn't doing the certain actions he's doing. Like if he said exactly what you just said, it's like, yo, they do X blah blah blah, but screenshotting, asking for a number, putting that shit online, making threat, like that type of shit, and like just constantly like, yo, blah, blah, blah. Oh, you was friends with Pete. I'm not, like. So
but
like,
I'm not gonna lie
that's
though.
the shit that he will lose public perception on, because like. How we hold on. Let me finish my thought. Let me finish my thought and shit. Like how we know, like how you were just saying, we know how powerful the Kardashian brand is and their PR team and shit. But he's actually making it easier for them if they wanted to do a smear campaign and shit. Like he's making it easier for them because he's volunteering the content for them to use and shit. Because you remember when he was like,
Kanye, we know that
the threat, and then he was like posting her shit online. Hold on. No, just let me finish my point. I'm saying that you can't excuse him posting her shit online and saying, "Oh, that's just Kanye. He gonna just post her. She gonna post, ask for her number, post that shit, ask or make a public threat on a song, post that shit, do all this shit, make these actions, and then we just excuse it. Like, oh, that's who Kanye is. Their team is like, because Kanye." I'm not excusing that. She knew he has $1 billion.
She
so
knew
he can hire. He can hire. No, I'm not. I'm not.
She knew who Kanye was when she married him.
No, I'm not excusing that either.
This ain't nothing new.
If Kanye, yeah, I'm not saying I'm not
that's a fact.
I'm not saying she didn't know that. I'm saying he's doing himself a disservice with those actions. If he presented it how like, if something happened but he did all of this shit, everybody gonna be like, yo, he was fucking wild. Like you just say, yo, he's doing hella corn shit. We all see the actions. We don't be like, oh, he doing. Hey, bro, he can just do that shit. That's just what it is. It's like, nah, those actions aren't inexcusable. If you did what you're saying, like, yo, I'm doing this because blah 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 blah. But like, nah, I'm finna just threaten this nigga real fast.
No,
I'm finna do X, Y, and Z.
He kind of been doing both though. He been
shit.
doing the corn shit, but he also been doing the other stuff where he tried to tell us like, yo, they playing games with me or whatever. They trying to say I'm crazy so I can't see my kids or whatever. He has been telling us about that side of the coin as well. We just been like, nah, nigga, you been bugging or whatever. And another thing, Kanye is right when it comes to Kid Cudi. Like, bro, if I change your life, literally, nigga, financially, I literally changed your life. We supposed to be boys. I don't give no fuck if you was friends with this nigga or not. Like, if we boys, I changed your life, nigga, you supposed to ride with me. If you not riding with me, then it's fuck you then. Like,
well, he just apologized. He just apologized to Kid Cudi yesterday and shit. They back friends and shit.
It's not even about the.
Yeah, they only back friends because Kanye called. Hold on, Meech, you just brought up a super valid topic too and shit. At some point, my nigga, you gotta call niggas out on they shit. Good, bad, or in between. Like, nigga, you gotta speak on shit. Cause a lot of times friends be letting a lot of niggas slide with a lot of cornball shit. Like, regardless of what you feel like if you did some outlandish ass shit, like, yo, let me holler at you and shit. A lot of niggas ain't like that and shit. I appreciate Kanye for calling motherfuckers out on certain shit. Like, that certain shit needs to be said and shit.
Nah, I agree. I appreciate it, but then it's to an extent. It's to an extent of like, there's right ways of handling shit, like how Jay-Z and like some other niggas, they got problems with niggas. There's right ways of doing that shit. And then there's the Kanye West way and shit. I'm saying the action may be warranted, but it's like, to present it to social media for all us to be in y'all family business, we don't need to be knowing y'all family shit. We don't need to be knowing what, because we can't do shit but just see the perception of what's happening in your family and shit. I don't need to be knowing, can you get Kim Kardashian's number and shit. I don't need to be.
I agree with that. I agree with everything that you just said.
And then posting that shit on Instagram and tagging her in it, because like, it looks, from our perception, it'll look like, oh, this nigga wild and he bullying this shit. It would just look like, yo, if I'm saying he could do all that shit on the other side, but it could just be like, you don't have to do it on a public forum, because we can't help. We only looking at it as, yo, this shit is outrageous. Yeah, but I'm saying,
you got to understand that Kanye and Kim lives in a perception world or whatever. So it's about what they put out to the public. Like, what the Kim side is putting out makes them look honorable or whatever. So I get it. You want to keep some things private or whatever, but he like, yo, I'm dealing with a family that ain't about privacy at all. Their whole life is on TV and shit or whatever. So we can't handle certain things private because they gonna make me look like the big angry black guy and shit. And I need to let y'all know what the fuck going on before this narrative get painted. Now, obviously, we know.
But he's making himself look like that himself and shit. They not even doing. He's doing it on his own and shit.
But
he's not helping his
I
case
just
with this
said
shit.
earlier, like, sometimes people could be doing shit. Drake spoke about that on the song he did Kanye when he was like, when he said about it in the song, when he said behind closed doors, playing it peacefully for the streets to see or whatever. Like, that's a fact. Like, you could be behind public. I mean, you could be in the private doing all kind of fuck shit or whatever, but you don't present it out to the public. So it make it look like you this angel and shit, and the other person wilding because they just reacting off of things you doing in private and they reacting publicly. Now, obviously, we know Kanye is he's self-sabotaging or whatever. No, he's self-sabotaging with this situation or whatever. But I'm just saying, there can be things that's going on that we don't know about that's coming from the Kim side that's triggering him and causing him to react the way he's reacting.
Yeah, my point is he's causing himself more damage. Like, if we're saying he's doing this and it's going to help, it's not helping. It's just making people look at him. Like, if he's doing this for a positive outcome, is not working. Like, you think the judges and shit is watching this shit like, that guy looks like he needs. If let's say Kim K and them, they was like, yeah, we need to figure out a way of taking custody from Kanye. Let's say that was their goal. Hypothetically, that was their goal. I don't know if it is or not, but let's say that was. If a judge is looking at all of these actions, what do you think the perception is legally of Kanye right now? Because they could say, right, and they can say mentally he's not stable. They can paint all of this shit and be like, yo, because he's doing a disservice. Like everything you said could be true. Shit could be happening in the background, but like if he's going to paint his own perception of who he comes off to the public, part of the public is the legal judges and shit. Everybody see this shit. So he might be doing himself a disservice. And that's what I'm saying. So I'm like, that shit could be helping, but somebody needs to talk to him and be like, yo, this ain't the route to take.
Honestly,
you have to find another strategy that's gonna work. But doing this shit is not the route to taking shit. Because the judges and everybody see this shit.
I don't think the shit that he doing gonna work in his favor anyway.
That's what I'm saying. That was my whole point.
It's not working. You said somebody need to talk to him. I don't think it's a goddamn soul on this planet that can talk to Kanye and stop him from being Kanye. And
that's a fact. Especially when he's battling with money and his kids and shit.
Nah, I think
on one hand you want to root for him for his kids. The other hand, it's the money, like his ego. Kanye can't get out of Kanye.
And I also think Kanye, which we all noticed for the longest, like Kanye been battling depression for a minute or whatever. And we all just sit and dance to his music and shit. But like the nigga been depressed for a long ass time now. And this is why he acting the way he act. Like, and then when he act the way he act, instead of like legit trying to help him, I mean, we all laugh or call him crazy. So he go be me even more crazier and shit. Like,
and that's why I agree with what Charlamagne has said. Is like we all are like he was saying we was dick riding dysfunction.
Yeah, I heard
just watching somebody. We watching this train wreck happen, and it's like, yo, we shouldn't make it because like when you give it more, you know how like all these press outlets is like share, like every day, like whether we like it or not, Shade Room, all these big ass platforms, they gonna share the latest on what he does and shit, which isn't beneficial for him because like Beach was just saying he's depressed, so like
make him look like a villain all the time.
No, it's giving
make
him
like
attention.
A villain, but I'm saying like we all like. Like Beach was saying, we all know he's depressed. And if we all know he's depressed, but instead of addressing that, we just address the action that his depression is forcing on, you know what I mean? The action that his depression is making him do all this extra shit. But we like, that's his music, posting this shit, laughing like, oh, he said he gonna beat dude. Oh man, he bought a house next door to them and shit. This nigga is crazy. Like, we all taking a part of it as like if it was one big ass like joke or movie, like we watching a movie when it's like this is a person that's really going through some wild ass shit. Even if you think about the because I'm about to transition to the next topic, that Kanye West documentary, which is fucking amazing and shit. If you even check that shit out and like you can tell why he's depressed because that relationship he had with his mom was so goddamn everything to him and shit. So losing that was like losing his whole world and shit. So like if you add that to now losing his family and shit, yeah, this man is going through the wildest shit that you can go through, and it's like
no facts.
We just
that's a fact. To me, the only worst problem Kanye can have outside of losing his mom and losing his family, because to me those are high on the list when it comes to like depression or whatever. The only thing that he ain't got to worry about, which would be like being fucking homeless because you ain't got funds and shit or whatever. But like outside of that, because he a billionaire, he going through two things that money can't fucking save him for. Like money cannot bring your mom back. And the sad thing about his mom passing was his mom didn't pass because of like old age or natural causes. Like his mom just went away, abruptly in his life or whatever. Because of, I ain't about to speak into that.
Well, it's actually wild. No, his money caused his mother to die and shit. Because like she decided she wanted to get like surgery. The irony of his whole situation, which can even make you go even crazier, is like, yo, my success and my reign and my money and all this shit, actually, my mother
Killed my mom and shit.
killed my mother because she decided to use this to go get, breast surgery or whatever the case was. Like, that shit it's just a wild,
then
like, if you start
if
to
you
really think about that shit, I can
if you
see that
add
shit could
that
drive
on,
you
like,
insane
okay, I
and
lost
shit.
my mom abruptly because of, she was trying to make herself look, different with the money that I had. So my success kind of caused that. And then you look at like the next version of that was with Kim or whatever, with, falling in love with her and having kids together. That was the recreation of my mom or whatever. And now I lose her too. So it's like every time you see your kids, it just remind you that you lost
Yeah.
your family and shit or whatever. Like, you still love your kids and you still be there for them, but it's also a reminder that I no longer have my family as a whole or whatever. So, like, I get it.
You know what just dawned on me and shit?
What's that?
Kanye is the epitome of money
That's
can't
a
buy
fact.
happiness and shit.
Facts.
he is
Damn, that's a
literally
great ass point.
the epitome of money can't buy happiness and shit.
That's a fact. You can tell, because that's what shows you why you shouldn't seek happiness from external shit. Because that shit
That shit
doesn't
crazy.
get you nowhere.
We go our whole lives, and this is what's so fucked up about the world and shit. We live our whole lives thinking, well, not even thinking. We live our whole lives living knowing that in order for us to survive, we have to make money and shit.
Right.
On the other side to that, this nigga got all the money in the world and
Yep.
can't find happiness in nothing that he does.
Yep.
That's the most sick and fucked up. You talk about being fucked up in the head.
Yeah.
I can slightly understand
Yeah.
how that can push a person over and shit.
Think about it like this: there's not a dollar amount in the world that can make Kanye, like, I'm pretty certain he would trade his success for his mother's return and shit. You know what I mean? So it's like,
he'll give whatever to have his mom back and shit.
So it's like that might be why he's like saying, "Yo, I'm a billionaire." I'm like, because he's trying to like figure out, like, would me achieving these high feats fill that void of my mother being gone and shit. You know what I mean? And like, you would, to seek external shit is always going, because even like having the supermodels and all this shit,
Hey,
like,
but
none of that's gonna fill that void.
The
Your
thing
mom
about
back
it though,
shit, you know
on
what I
the
mean?
doc, his mom said that when she told him, like, when you look in the mirror, like, his mom said, like, everybody else sees the giant, but when you look in the mirror, the giant sees nothing or whatever, which is basically what's happening to him right now or whatever. So yeah, I don't know. Hey,
Yeah. Well, it will be no. That's what he should see, because her point was, you should not see a giant. You should still stay grounded and be Kanye West and not see the giant. But I think he looks in the mirror and sees himself as that fucking giant. That's why he's always talking about, I'm a billionaire. I work with fucking Elon Musk, and you know what I mean, like, talking about all of these people he's around.
Absolutely.
His mother was like, "Yo, stay grounded. Don't allow this shit to make you," because like, everyone sees a giant, but when you look in the mirror, you see nothing. You don't want to see this giant. You want to see like,
I
you're
will
not bigger than
say,
anyone and shit. That's how he's supposed
I
to. And
will
she kept
say
him
it's
grounded.
easier for us though on this side of the coin to tell somebody like that until you get into that position of power. Nobody knows how they're gonna react until you become that person where everybody looks at you as the man and shit or whatever. So it's really hard to understand what that is until you actually in that position.
Yeah. And speaking of that shit, because like, so what's the name of that
It's called
documentary and shit?
no, it's called
Kanye
Genius.
shit.
Yeah.
It's called Genius, but it's
Genius, because I think
it's
it was named
spelled
after their
different or
dog and
whatever.
shit. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but the doc called Genius, it shows you one thing I've took off after watching that. Is like, Kanye always had this wild drive that, and like, refused to take no, like, you know how you be like, yo, Kanye, like, Kanye's ego has never changed. Like, remember, he was just rushing the people off and just playing all this music and shit, and people just ignoring that shit. Like, dude played All Falls Down, and old girl was just like, when that new BlackBerry come out, and Kanye was, he just went to the next fucking office and shit. But this shit showed me, like, his drive and fire and passion is so fucking strong. but it also is causing his demise and shit. Shit is a wild ass shit, yo. Because I was watching that shit like he was so focused on achieving this shit that he got, and he always said like it was one part when he was in the car and he was like, "Yo, everybody look at me now," and they like, "Yo, you so successful, blah blah blah." Because that's when he was making beats for Jay, and he was like, "I'm not fucking successful. Like I got plans of being way bigger than this shit."
I liked his hunger.
But that's what's so wild about it, because we all can have these grand ideas. And remember when Rico, I was telling you like, yo, when you start chasing whatever you're chasing, remember why you did that shit, because once you reach it, you're gonna be similar to Kanye and shit. Like, yo, he got that shit, but it's that same drive that's pushed him there that like made him want to talk about this shit or made him view certain things the same way. Is that the same thing that's pushing him at this moment and shit? And then did he somehow lose that shit? And that's what happened. A lot of times you lose the shit that was initially pushing you there and shit. And that's what I was watching. I was thinking like, damn, Kanye, everybody was telling Kanye no, everybody was doubting him. And I see why now he just got so pissed. Like, bruh, y'all niggas told me no nonstop. Like, yo, he make good beats. He make good beats. Like, niggas was not trying to hear him rap at all and shit.
No, not at all.
And they was treating that shit like it was mid and shit. Like, dude was playing Scarface, or he's playing Scarface, Jesus Walks, and he was like, yeah, that shit's alright. But turn to the other shit. I'm like, bro, that was Jesus Walks and shit. That shit was wild as hell.
That whole documentary just goes to show you that nobody care about your dream as much as you do and shit.
Or nobody can see your vision like you can see that.
There we go. Yeah, nobody can see your vision as clear as you can see your vision. Like me and Trey was talking in the chat. Like Dame, it took Dame fucking 3 or 4 albums and a whole bunch of hit singles for him to finally be convinced that Kanye West was ready and shit. Like, because Dame was gonna try to keep that in the box and shit.
Yo, they wasn't feeling All Falls Down and shit. But I was trying to think of how they saw it, and then think of it like this: What if you only? No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm about to get to. That's what I'm about to. This you about to say. I'm about to say. I think I'm about to say the exact same shit. Imagine if you look at producers, right? You like Dre, like all of these producers. You only think they only good at one thing and shit, right?
Yeah.
So like, if you hear like Swiss Beats, like, yo, I can rap too. You like, all right, bro. Like, you heard other producers try to rap and shit. You hear Kanye, you're like, yeah, it's cool, but your talent is making beats. So you can't not see them as a beat maker versus a rapper. Like how you was telling us Timberland was a rapper, but I can only see him as a fucking producer. I couldn't even see myself giving him a time of day as a rapper and shit. Yeah. I think that's probably what they was doing. What do you think? Shit?
Well, I'm gonna just cover my whole thought about the doc. I took a whole completely different spin than what y'all took from that. What I took from it was one scene that caught my eye, and there was a producer back in his hometown in Chicago that he used to work with or whatever. And I remember the producer ended up making a diss record about him or whatever. And Kanye got upset, and him and his people had went and addressed him about that. And I took that as like, I feel like a lot of people throughout his entire like life and career, I feel like has been, I don't want to say backstabbing him, but like, I feel like people been doing shit to like lower his trust or whatever. And I feel like he's been.
No, I know what you're saying. Yeah, like saying one thing.
No,
and
facts.
then doing
I think that's the entire. Like, I think most of his career has been like that or whatever, even with all of his success or whatever. Because like y'all was saying, he had to prove himself as a rapper or whatever, and then he had to prove himself that I can make music without it being a street, anthem kind of shit or whatever. So then he had to prove himself in fashion or what. He just been proving himself every fucking turn, and I just feel like people been doing shit hasn't been the best for Kanye within his life and career or whatever. And I feel like that shit is part of the reason why we're looking at the Kanye that we see now. Because I feel like he has such a lack of trust for people he've encountered or whatever, because he probably seen so many like kind of fake shit or whatever. That's why Kanye just be jumping out and spazzing, because it's literally like Kanye be at these meetings that none of us supposed to know about, and it's like he want to come tell us like, yo, they doing so much fuck shit in these meetings, but he don't know how to present it to us the correct way, so it just come off as irrational or whatever. But I really feel like he got a lot of fucking hurt and trust issues that been plaguing him for a long ass time in his life. And that's what I took out of it because I was.
You know why Kanye act like that too, Meech, to add on to what you said? Because Kanye comes everything in that documentary, Kanye came in with pure intent. Everything.
He did.
Now, not one thing in that documentary that I seen him come in looking like he wanted to be better than anybody, be malicious or anything
that's what I'm
like
saying.
that.
Hell yeah. And you
And
know
that
what?
shit could really drive
hold on. Before you go.
And you know what I just realized and shit. Remember when
let me finish my point.
Remember?
I'm saying before you go, because
Bro, go, bro.
First of all, I think never mind. But my point was, yeah, Rico right. Like I feel like his entire career. Damn, I forgot my fucking thought. Go ahead.
No, what I was gonna say was one thing that was kind of weird, or I just pay attention to super small shit. And I remember when he was getting ready to get his Rockefeller chain, and Pharrell had seen him in a hallway. You can tell Pharrell thought, like, I seen how Pharrell looked. Like Pharrell was looking at him like, bruh, like I'm way bigger than you and shit. Like it was like, I don't know. I just seen like I seen you coming, but I'm not truly worried and shit. Like Pharrell had that look like
a little brother looking out like a little brother and shit.
Yeah, he was like, because you know how like somebody be like, yo, what's up? Like you could tell Kanye was still humble and he was just like, yo, what's up for real? You know what I mean? And shaking his hand. Pharrell was like, oh, what's going on? Yeah, he got some, you know what I mean? Like that shit, but it wasn't like, oh, this nigga is like on my level and shit.
Yeah, you could look at Pharrell. Pharrell was probably on some. I see your little beats over there.
Hell yeah, but you ain't because you remember Pharrell was doing a lot of exclusive Jay-Z shit too before Kanye came around and shit. So, but nah, if you got a chance, make sure you check out that Genius doc. That shit is, and I think what's kind of hurting a lot of people from watching because I think they think it's current Kanye. And like a lot of people are like, oh, I'm sick of
this shit
Kanye.
Is amazing that he was able to document this.
No, it's amazing, but because I've been talking to a lot of people like, yo, go watch that. They're like, bro, I'm sick of Kanye. Like they think it's a current look of like what's happening with Kanye. I'm like, no, this is old Kanye. Somebody recorded this shit when he was coming up and shit. Like this has nothing to do with this current.
Actually,
none of this shit. This is some other shit because a lot of people just won't even think this is
perfect marketing. The fact that Kanye is making so much noise, even if it's not the best noise, Kanye is still active right now. So it's like, yo, not only can we go look back at the Kanye that was then, and we still get a glimpse of the Kanye now. So now we get to see old Kanye and new Kanye all at the same fucking time. So I think it's great marketing. I think it was released at this time for a reason.
Nah. Yeah, I'm saying the marketing might be different. I'm saying how people are getting, like how everybody's like, yo,
but
I'm
you
sick
do know
of, like, I've been hearing this shit. People don't realize that this,
it was
like
number one on Netflix.
No, I'm saying I know, but I just looked on what's in it. But yo, listen, it's not.
No,
I literally just on Netflix.
No,
it's not number one.
I said it was number one. I didn't say it still is.
But yeah, let me finish my thought though. All I'm saying is, it could be number one. It could be doing well. I'm just saying the people that I'm talking to, I'm like, yo, go check out this Kanye doc and shit. And everybody like, nah, bro, I'm sick of Kanye, bro. He pissing me the fuck off. Or like, and I'm trying to explain to them that this is different than trying to explain that this has nothing to do with current Kanye. This is old footage from old Kanye. Because even this other shit I was watching on YouTube, they had a topic about this shit, and everybody was like saying the same shit. Like they thinking that this is a current landscape of Kanye, and this is a whole different goddamn story, is what I'm saying. Like people don't understand that this is older footage and has nothing to do with this current.
Nah, Trey, you're right. I've definitely heard people say they don't feel like watching shit else about Kanye West because he just, as for all this good shit that he got going on now, he got 90 other bad things going on and shit, and people just kind of tired of it and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like it was funny at first, but now it's starting to just become like, all right, fam, like now this shit getting corny, which is so sad because this shit is really fucking good.
That's what I'm saying. And this that documentary has nothing to do with this, but I'm thinking people are viewing that shit all as the same. They don't realize that has a whole damn near a third party, has nothing to do. Like this dude filmed this shit. He wasn't, you know what I mean? Like he put this shit together himself and shit.
Kudos to dude for his name is
foresight. Cootie, I think. Yeah. Like Cootie killed that shit.
Kudos to him for having the foresight to document this shit. I've never in my life seen no shit like this.
Oh,
This
facts, bro.
Tierra was getting so mad that I was in there I was geeking out. I was just seeing all the people that we like. Mos Def, Talib,
Bruh.
Memphis, Bleak, fucking, and this was just all the first episode and shit.
Yo, and you know Memphis when he was like, yo, he gonna be one of the, like he was telling Kanye like he gonna be one of the greatest, and that's when Kanye was still unknown. It was just wild. Listen, like we was
he was happy that Common got a gold plaque, bro.
Yeah,
that shit is wild. Nuts. You know what else I got out of that documentary too?
What's up?
And I don't know if nobody else peeped this or I'm just crazy. I think that's the start of him and Just Blaze beef.
Oh yeah, but remember he was giving Just Blaze his, because he said Just Blaze. That's when I realized he's like Just Blaze inspired him because he never seen nobody work how Just Blaze was working. And shit.
But he also said his arch nemesis too and shit.
Oh yeah, he said
he did say that was his arch nemesis. I'm like,
but at least, but at least one thing I liked about the doc is Kanye knew that Just was that nigga though. You know what I mean? Like fact. He wasn't like, oh nah, because remember on the current what's the name of that podcast he had did and shit on Drink Champs when he was like Just Blaze had stole his shit and then.
That's it.
But there it was like, oh nah, I respect like the shit this nigga doing. He made me change my whole shit. Cause remember Kanye said he made him change out.
Hey, another thing when I was watching it, when I was watching it, I realized, and I think my brother spoke on this, like, yo, this nigga has always been Kanye. Cause there was a part in the doc when he said, remember the part when he was like, somebody asked him for a free beat, and he was like comparing it to like if you owned a TV shop and somebody came in there and said, I watched the best television or whatever. And I was like, yo, this nigga has been Kanye from day one and shit. They just didn't realize how crazy this shit was finna go. But he was still showing.
But that was some bullshit.
No, I'm saying he was still showing signs of this is me, yo. Like I y'all don't know it right now because I'm not a big celebrity like I'm about to be. But the little one-liners he was saying, I was like, yo, I can hear current Kanye saying this shit now. It'll just be with more shit around it or whatever.
Yeah.
And they was definitely trying to play him. That whole time they was trying to play him.
And you know what else I was thinking of and shit? The same, remember when Drake was like, yo, they be trying to little bro me, dog? They was doing that shit to Kanye like a motherfucker. Because remember when they said DMX was like, yo, he want, because remember Kanye did a free beat. That when he said that, he was like, but I'm gonna get DMX because it's still the look for me for DMX. I remember he had gave DMX that free beat, but they was all trying to just take advantage of his fucking beats. And the only nigga that he wasn't
$500.
Yeah, like
$500 for you to get a Kanye beat back then, and then it's crazy now and shit. Like
and he was remember you seen his apartment? That shit was trash. That's why I was like, yo, that's why he was so. That's why I mean it's wild because it's like once you elevate at that level, it's hard to get your brain back to being that poor. Like his apartment was like you know what I mean? Like
I enjoyed that he had Rhyme Fest there. I enjoyed he had Consequence there. I enjoyed it. Everything about that was right. Everything about it. What was the 88 keys?
Oh yeah, no ID and shit. Yeah.
Yes, no ID. All of them niggas is.
It's just he had no ID when he was younger. When he was young and shit too. And
that shit is so crazy that dog got all of these influence. These people single-handedly.
Pause that real quick. One, there was a cameo. I seen Wayno on that bitch and shit. Wayno and you know Wallow, like when they was going through the hallways and shit.
Yeah,
and like he was going, like you were seeing people that's popping right now. They was like nobody's at that point and shit. Like Wayno was there, fucking Wallow was in the office and shit. Shit was wild, but now finish your shit. I just want to throw that out there.
No, the people that's in this documentary helped shape the music that we have now and shit. Facts. Just that shit really got to sink in now. These exact people that's being highlighted literally help transcend music and shit.
And his story was damn near similar to Cole's besides the college and shit. Like, damn, like moving to New York, doing all that shit, trying to get on and shit. Because I'd never paid attention that Kanye moved to New York and shit. You know how like Cole, he puts a light on like, yo, I had to move to New York to get my shit popping. Kanye did the same shit, was living in a trash ass apartment and shit. But like,
Yeah,
I always
bro.
looked at Kanye as like he was living in Chicago and shit. I was never like, yo, he
I
moved to
feel
New York
like
for all this shit to
I
pop
feel
off
like
and shit.
Kanye and Drake. I feel like Kanye and Drake have
What you say,
like
Meech?
one thing in not one thing, but this one thing in common, which is I feel like they both feel like the industry tried to play them when they first came in, and that's why they both turn up on the industry in different ways. Like Kanye turn up on the industry just they call it rants and shit when he go off on them. Drake turn up
Facts.
on the industry by dissing everybody in his bitch and shit or whatever. Cause like it's like yo, when I came in, y'all all try to little bro, y'all all try to little bro us and shit
Y'all wasn't fucking
or
with me.
whatever. So and they both had the same
Right.
complex. Like no,
Try to tell me
they
I
both
was
had
just
the
a
same
singing nigga.
complexes. Both was looked at as like, but y'all both cornballs. Y'all not hood niggas and shit. Nobody want to hear that music or whatever. So they both had to push through.
Yep.
And one's an actor, one's a producer. They're like, no, rappers are producers and actors shouldn't be
That's a
rapping and
fact.
shit. That's how the industry was looking at them niggas.
But yeah, that's it.
Nah, shit. But nah, yeah, that to me, I can't wait for the next installment of that shit. Yeah, that shit was remarkable and shit. And you know what's crazy? I remember on Through the Wire. And I also remember on You Heard It First and shit on MTV. I remember that interview on You Heard It First, and I also remember on Through the Wire when they was having some of that footage and shit. But if you go back and look at Through the Wire footage, that's the same footage they've been using on this documentary. So Cootie just put that shit, the Through
I
the
said the
Wire
same
footage.
exact thing.
He put. I was like, damn, but they was sitting on this shit for years and
I
shit.
said
That
the
shit is
exact
wild as
same thing.
hell, bro.
I said, yo, is this part of Through the Wire and shit? I
Yo,
said the exact same thing and shit.
and the concept of, I don't know if you ever seen Hoop Dreams and shit. Like they building on Hoop Dreams, but like the hip hop, this shit is remarkable and shit. So yeah, if you get yourself a chance, go check this shit out. Another thing to check out. Wait, y'all got anything else on this Kanye shit?
Mm-mm.
All right, but yeah, another thing to check out that I've been watching and I've been loving and shit, and it actually shocked the hell out of me because I didn't think it was gonna be this damn good as the Bel Air reboot. The Bel Air reboot came on during Super Bowl. Well, they aired the first episode during Super Bowl, but they forced a lot of people to pretty much download the app, which is Peacock, and they actually doing a great job with that shit. Like I thought, I don't know, I just have I didn't know I was going to be enjoying this as much, especially with the dramatization of this shit. What's your thoughts on that shit, Mees? How you feel
I
about
think
this
the
new
show
Bel
is
Air shit?
absolutely fucking phenomenal or whatever, because I feel like they still make you remember the original show, The Fresh Prince of Bel Air, because they still have scenes from that, but they take a completely different spin off with that or whatever. And then the characters look nothing like the characters that was on the show, which also gives you a different lens to pay attention to them more because they it's not like they tried to make the characters look like the characters from the show or whatever. I mean, they have little moments here and there when they try to do with the dude who's playing the new Will or whatever, but I think they do an amazing job. And I think the fact that they went drama versus comedy is fucking amazing or whatever because it give it a whole different spin. Like
Yeah.
the fact that it's a drama, I feel like they able to get into more things that was left out, like the whole fight or whatever, as to reason why he went to Fresh Prince of Bel Air. Now they're able to actually break that down and like, yo, this is what actually happened versus it was just a fight and he left because we know that's not how shit works in the hood or whatever. So the fact that they broke that down and
Right.
then I think so far the MVP is the person playing Carton or whatever. I feel like the consensus is right now he's the MVP of the show because
Facts.
no
That nigga
facts or whatever.
annoying as hell.
But
Yes.
the fact
That nigga make you hate
the
him,
fact
dog.
that he's playing that villain role so well, it's like, oh shit. Because like if you think about it, on a regular Fresh Prince of Bel Air, like, yeah, Carton was a little jealous of Will or whatever, but eventually he got over it. But if you think about real life, it don't work that way. Like, if you from a wealthy ass family and then your cousin from the hood that you don't really know just comes, now you feel like somebody trying to take your place. And now they showing like exactly how this all went about. And I like the fact that they showed that like Carton, because on the regular Fresh Prince, they try to make it seem like Carton can't get girls and shit, and then eventually he started getting girls or whatever. But on this, they show like he can get girls because this is the life he lived. Like Carton is not considered corny in the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air because this is where he lived. Everybody acts like Carton or whatever. So I like that angle of it or whatever, that they didn't make him just a cornball or whatever, because it's like, yo, the life that I'm living here is normal. The things that I do here is normal. It don't make me corny in Bel Air because this is what happens in Bel Air. So I like that part about it or whatever. And then I like the fact that they have dark skinned people playing these roles. Like not
Dark
yes, like
skin, Vivian. There
not
you
black
go.
people, because you can have black people and they can be like light skinned like myself, and you can still try to lean on the edge of we have black people, but we had to play with the shades of color. Like no, they got literally dark skin, melanin tone people playing Hillary and playing Vivian and playing Knuckle Phil and playing Carton and they down there playing everybody besides Will. So I'm like, yo, this is great. And I love the fact that they showed when a white boy was saying the N-word and how Carton just let that ride. Because that happens in like
Will
real
went
life
up.
when people are used to hanging around certain circles, you give people a pass. Especially, I'm pretty sure if you live in high society or whatever, like at some point,
Facts.
Carton probably feel like shit. I ain't no nigga myself, so shit. Hell yeah, you can say that or whatever. Until Will get there, that's from the hood, and it's like, yo, what kind of corny shit is this? So hell yeah, and I feel like they did an amazing job shooting this shit.
Right, and that I agree. Think this shit is phenomenal. I love the fact that they got a black and Viv, and Jeffrey is hood as hell and shit. I don't
I
know.
had just wa-
Y'all caught up on this shit?
I
I gotta
had
watch
just watched that
the
one
next
today before
episode.
we got on air because I wanted to be caught up. I know
Oh
exactly where
yeah,
you're going with it.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. But I ain't gonna spoil it for Rico.
No,
Though, but
Go ahead, because by the
oh
time this
no,
come out,
yeah.
I'd have watched it already and shit.
Oh yeah, well no, Jeffrey he just a hood nigga and shit. And like I like the reimagination of these characters and shit. Cause like
Wait, Trey, hold on. Let me get my take before you get your shit off,
okay,
because I know where you going. At first, I'm be honest with y'all, I was not fucking with this shit at first until I finally took myself out of the equation and started looking at it from a whole nother lens and shit. I had to realize this isn't the same Fresh Prince. Like, this isn't a comedy or nothing like that. Like, this is much more dark and grounded. And once I got out of that, I was able to enjoy the show a lot more. This shit is fucking fire. Like, for real. Okay, Trey, go ahead.
oh yeah, no. One thing I was just gonna say was like they providing a lot of depth into characters. We didn't have a lot of depth into who they are and shit. Like for Jeffrey, remember when they was introducing Jeffrey on the first episode on the original Fresh Prince, it was just a butler, but they wasn't really giving us like who he was, all this type of shit. On this, they showing us like, yo, this dude is actually he's like the right hand, he's like the muscle, but also the butler and shit. But he can make calls, get shit done. Um, for Carlton, having Carlton date Lisa, because remember Lisa on the original, that was Will's girl and shit. That was Nia Lone's character.
Yeah, that was a good
And like I just think they doing a great job of giving depth because like my brother was saying, like the fight, like I got one little fight, my mom got scared, like that didn't make sense when you really think about it. But now this shit makes sense. Like, oh, if you get in fight with the hood nigga and like nigga, because we all know people from the hood know like, yo, you get into certain situations, you could fuck around and die, especially if you're in Philadelphia or like Chicago. Like you beef with somebody and they ready to smoke you and shit. Like they willing to do that shit. They made that shit believable as hell in the situation of like, all right, if Will stay here, they gonna fuck around and try to kill this nigga and shit. That was more believable than to how like the first episode on the original show went. You know what I mean? Like he got into a fight, fist fight, his mom moved him out and shit. So I like that they gave us context into how bad that situation was and how bad that fight went. You know what I mean? And how it went from I'm gonna kill you because like just because you punching me or whatever, that don't mean you're gonna kill me. But Will pulls a gun at the hoodest nigga in the fucking hood, and dude's like, bro, niggas pull a gun at me, you better be ready to use that bitch and shit. Like, and that's real as shit, because if you pull a gun on the hood, and they not just gonna let that shit, let bygones be bygones. Like, nah, bro, you either kill me right now or I'm killing you and shit. So I like the fact that they gave that shit hella depth. One thing me and Danny was talking about as we was watching that shit this morning was like, what would be dope is if they do the Will Dad shit, but they bring Will Smith. You know, Will Smith is a executive producer on this shit. If they bring Will Smith in as Will's dad and shit, you know, like playing the dad of Will, like his actual dad. Because you know, Will's dad is gone and shit. That would
That'd
be
be
a dope,
fire. I ain't even gonna lie.
dope reimagination too and shit. But they can take this show this show a lot of fucking ways, bruh. They can take this show and how they did means how they did Jazz character, like he's not a loser and shit. He got his own fucking record.
Jazz shit is fire
another thing I forgot to bring up is the I also think it's interesting how they doing the drug use with Carson or whatever, because you know, like when you that high up in life and your when you that high up in life and your family that successful and shit, like you really got endless to means or whatever you want or whatever. And it was showing like how like a rich kid deals with stress or whatever. So I thought that was interesting versus the one episode on the original Fresh Prince when they had Carton on speed and shit or whatever. And then another thing I was thinking, which is huge in our community, the Black community, the back and forth relationship between the mom and Viv or whatever and Hillary, because that's a real thing in a Black community or whatever, when it's the daughter versus the mom and the dynamic of a relationship between mom and daughter or whatever. So I thought that was a pretty interesting twist on how they played that or whatever, because they never really had that on a regular Fresh Prince. It was never really Hillary having moments where she was, disagreeing with her mom and things like that or whatever. So yeah, I fuck with it. I definitely fuck with it. This is one of the
Yeah, that shit was dope.
No, I was just gonna say this is one of the best reboots that I've seen so far, because I've also seen How I Met Your Dad, and that's one of the trash shit I've ever seen. This shit horrible, terrible.
Trash.
How I Met Your Dad. That shit need to be canceled after episode 2.
Yeah, they should leave that shit alone. No, I was watching that shit. That shit was just so fucking corny.
Yeah, because they didn't do
with that shit.
But they didn't do anything new on that. They just basically said we're gonna follow literally the same fucking blueprint the last show had, just with different characters and make it How I Met Your Dad. I was like, yo, especially when they was in the same apartment and they had the swords on the wall. I was like, yeah, they need their ass beat for this shit.
Yeah, that's a money grab if I ever seen one. And shit. That's a goddamn money grab. Speaking of another trash ass show, Force is so goddamn awful and shit. I
gotta catch up on it.
Right. That's that Tommy show and shit. But like as I was watching the Fresh Prince shit, and I'm thinking like how whenever they set up all these situations on the new Fresh Prince, it's like, oh, that can happen. Oh, that can happen too. Oh, that can, like, logical. The writing shows you like this is how this can happen. This is how this can happen. This can how this can happen. And it's like everything lines up properly in how something could come about and shit. On Force, it was the most outlandish shit. And if you don't know what Force is, it's a spinoff of Power, and it's the Tommy's version of Power, because they got the Power, but they got Tariq's, they got Kanan, and now they got Tommy and shit. But Tommy, he has his own show too. But like that shit, when I say that shit was, to me, that shit was cringeworthy and shit. First off, how he met the mob was just the wildest shit I've ever seen and shit. Like, this nigga was looking for parking. He somehow found a parking spot, and then he found a park. This first day in Chicago, by the way, he ends up moving to Chicago. First day, he just driving down the street looking for parking, find a parking spot. The mob pulls up and it's like, hey, that's my spot. And Tommy's like, I'm not moving from this spot. Out of all the people's spots, he just randomly picked a spot, and it was just a fucking mob member spot. And that was like the people you were. To me, that shit is so fucking disgustingly trash and shit. What's your take on that shit, Rico?
That wasn't that bad. Because, I mean, if I'm the mob boss,
I mean, usually I park in the front too and shit. You know what I'm saying? And if you parking in my parking spot in the front and shit, I feel some type of way.
But how would you even know? How would you even know that's a parking? How would you even know you just driving down a regular street that randomly you was working with the mob in another city? You just randomly drive on the street. You're not looking for the mob. You're just trying to get from New York and shit. The first place you park your car is a fucking mob boss parking spot and shit.
I mean, it's the front of a bar and shit.
So I don't know. That's shit
not
is so funny.
That's not that far fetched. The thing that we really need to be fucking going back and forth about is him having a black brother and shit. Fuck the parking space. That black brother.
That was the worst shit I've ever seen.
Was the one and shit. That's the one. Where the fuck did a black brother come from and shit?
Bruh,
We're not finna argue about the parking spot. We finna argue about this black brother shit.
I'm arguing about the whole shit. The black brother shit didn't make no goddamn sense.
Now that shit didn't make no sense and shit.
The drug deal, when they made the drug deal, that shit was this nigga. They have a fucking drug deal. They don't even know who Tommy is. They let this nigga come in, and they like, oh, this is our first drug deal. He walks off with all their money. And it's like, all right, bro, they just let this random ass nigga come in their drug deal, walk off with all the fucking money and shit, and they just like, oh, cool. That shit made sense too and shit.
That's because them niggas want no killers and shit. He killed the two niggas. Them niggas want no killers and shit. They be playing tough. It didn't make sense, but I
was like, what the fuck is this shit? I'm just saying the writing just don't make sense and shit. Like shit that happened in Fresh Prince.
And it's repetitive and shit. All this shit that they just happened now and shit didn't happen in Power and shit.
Hold on. Let me jump in here.
And I could.
Before I cover this episode, I forgot to say about the reboot. This just shows how much diversity we have as in our community, as far as like black people. Shout out to Easy the Block Captain, which is a battle rapper. He doing a phenomenal job on there as far as acting and shit. He doing an amazing job. This just shows you how fucking talented black people is. Like, yo, we all across the board fucking talented or whatever. And then jumping into this power shit, yeah, you right. Like the scenarios that they created is like some of the fakest shit I've ever seen in my life and shit. Like, I agree. Ain't no way in hell you just magically came from like the craziest shit in New York where you literally had to leave the fucking state because it's just so much dysfunction in the drug game for you. Then you go to Chicago and all of a sudden you meet the top fucking dogs in there. Like, nah, nigga, that's unbelievable. And then, like you said, then all of a sudden, I don't have to be no drug dealer to know. Ain't no random person finna walk into no drug trade, kill some niggas, take all y'all shit and everything be good. That shit is unbelievable. And then all of a sudden, they figure, shit, Ghost ain't here no more. So now you got a black brother. Like, wait, huh? What the hell is going on here? Yo, like, this shit is pure retarded and shit.
And the guy, and the dude that they finna have teaming up with Tommy, the guy that works at the barbershop and shit, is pretty much another fucking ghost and shit. They literally looked for another ghost and was like, instead of you owning a club, you own a barbershop and shit.
This shit,
like,
I will say, as much as you dislike the other spinoff with Tariq and them, like, I could say they did a way better job with that show. Like, despite how you feel about that, you probably feel it.
No, I would agree. No, I agree. That
so
show
far,
is way better than
you
Time
gotta
and
make
shit.
it somewhat realistic, yo. Like this shit, and to me,
1,000% better.
This was supposed to be the best spinoff. Like Tommy was one of the most popular characters on the original Power, so it's like, yo, no way Tariq should be outshining you on his spinoff versus your spinoff. Like, what the hell?
This shit was supposed to be shown first and shit.
So I mean, I'm gonna give it a chance. Maybe watch 2 more episodes and see where they go with it. But if they continue in this direction, I will not be back. So
I was talking to E because E's a huge ass fan of this shit, and he was trying to tell me like, yo, just give it a chance and shit. But then I guess he watched episode 2. He said that shit was worse than episode 1 and shit. He's like, that shit was some of the worst acting he's ever fucking seen in his life and shit. So I don't know if I'm gonna look at that shit again and shit. But yeah, all in all, I do one thing I think is dope.
Is Grand Crew done?
Nah, well, it's the Olympics and shit, so they gotta pause.
I'm gonna be honest.
Over. It's the Winter Olympics on NBC.
I'm gonna be honest. Grand Crew kind of trash as well. I know y'all don't think so, but that shit kind of garbage.
Oh, I love that shit.
No, I fuck with it. It's kind of funny to me. And shit. Yeah, it's about 7 out of 10 and shit.
Yeah, but those are two different shows or whatever. I just feel Grand Crew is not it either and shit.
Yeah, I like that shit. I mean, but yeah, Najee hate that shit.
I'm not gonna be mad. I can't be mad at a person saying that. It's definitely an acquired taste and shit.
Oh, facts. Yeah, I mean,
that's how I feel when I look at that. Like, I look at that like, yo, that's not how black people act. Y'all corny as a bitch out here and shit.
But all in all, I do think it's dope that Power is trying to do like a Avengers, the like Hood Avengers, like a Hood Avengers series and shit. Of like, you know how Avengers have all these characters have their own fucking movies and shit, and they bring them all together for one. I think that concept is dope. I just wish they would have did better execution of the individual shows. Because my favorite of the Power series, I think Raising Kanan is the best of all that shit.
I never really watched Raising Kanan because I thought I never thought Kanan had such a big role in that show for it to be a spinoff on him or whatever. So I was like, I don't even understand the spinoff on him.
You would like it though. That shit fire.
Yeah, it is.
That shit fire as hell.
I tried to watch it a couple times and I just couldn't get into that shit. So I just said, fuck it.
No.
I don't understand how this nigga was the big ass drug dealer, but all right.
And I'm thinking if there's anything else we got to cover before we end this shit. But we've been talking.
Hey, you got to splice the first half of that other.
I know. That's what I'm doing. That was my plans and shit.
Yeah, we got to edit out when it started getting
tricky. When it started getting disrespectful.
Hell yeah, niggas was wilding and shit.
He's trying to put me in my place.
I'm gonna keep that shit out. I'm gonna keep that shit out and shit. But yeah, that's gonna wrap up the Mac and the Hanging podcast and shit. Hey, but if y'all niggas do want that full episode, send that $100 to us and shit. You heard this shit? Hey, you send each one of us $100. That shit drop like
if you want to hear family beef and real family shit, go and send that bread.
Hell yeah.
Hey, hold on. Hey, we gotta market that. Hey, that's our market right there. And shit.
If you want to see that shit, cash out niggas. I'll send the whole goddamn episode directly to your inbox and shit. That's some real shit. But no, that's gonna wrap up the Mac and the Hanging podcast. Thanks for listening. Make sure you follow us on Facebook. Make sure you follow us on Instagram. My Instagram handle is MACKIN. HANGIN_podcast. Make sure you follow us on YouTube. Subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Share as much as possible. Comment. Do what you got to do. Thanks for listening. We out.